So kia ora everyone, and welcome to another short snippet interview with a colleague in education around what's going on in our society at the moment. For those that haven't met me before, my name is Natasha Hemera, and I am lucky to be joined by the fabulous Mari Gordon from Hamilton Girls High School. So kia ora Mari, welcome to this hui today.
Kia ora, Natasha. It's a pleasure to be talking to you on this wonderful wet afternoon. So I look forward to sharing, I guess, information that I may have that's happening at our kura, but also, obviously the objective is for us all to learn from each other. So, yeah.
Yeah, kia ora. So tell me a little bit about your kura first of all, because not everyone might be aware of the type of school that Hamilton Girls is, size, number of staff you've got, and then we can move on to talking about what kind of happened in the days leading up to our lockdown as such.
Yeah, kia ora. So our school, we've got 1,700 students at Girls High. We're a decile 6 school, but as you can imagine, that ranges from a decile 1 to probably a decile 9 whānau groupings. Very much a multicultural school. So hugely multicultural, which is what I love about our kura. In particular, our Māori percentage rates, we sit around 35% Māori, and with our Pacifica in particular, we sit around the 9% as well. So staffing wise, we have approximately 103 teachers and probably a total of about 170 staff. We have a hostel, which we have 137 students that are placed in. So obviously this stage 4 lockdown has obviously had an impact on our hostel as well. International students, we have probably about 35 international students, and that's been a part of our vision to grow our international students, the numbers that come through. But as you would probably all be experiencing, that probably we won't be able to achieve that vision probably over the next year. So we are located central Hamilton, so CBD, one block over from the local CBD. So that presents problems as well. There's lots of challenges, sometimes positive so, because we are close to Wintec and sometimes some of the employers that we may have a relationship with. We'll figure out whether it's positive or not, but we're very close to the bus depot, the bus terminal, which also creates issues as well. So our duty does extend down to the bus depot at times as far as staff goes. So yeah, that's a wee bit of a summary of our kura. Yeah.
Cool. And so, everyone in each school kind of experienced differing levels of preparedness and organisation leading up into where we were at. I know that you already, you were a little bit ahead of things from my perspective, and you shared that with a lot of us at Waikato Principals because you'd had a staff member that had been in contact earlier on. Talk me through some of the stages of preparedness that you went through getting ready for the lockdown and going online learning.
Yeah, it was actually it's been an interesting second half of that term 1 in particular. I mean, right from the outset of having a pandemic plan in particular, because that was probably one of my biggest challenges, and I really struggled with the support that came out of the MRE with regards to actually having a pandemic plan for coronavirus. The paperwork they were throwing out was more around the influenza pandemic and so forth, and all you really wanted was something to pick it up and change the heading and put Hamilton Girls High School on it, but that actually wasn't really the case. In the end, they came to the party, but by then I'd already written my one for our school, and a lot of that again came back to support from other businesses. So I was really lucky that one of my teachers, whose partner works for a business, Well Energy, and he was able to share some really good information with that, so that helped it. So for me, that actually started from then, which is that framework as to how you manage that, and having that pandemic plan to start with was really crucial for me and for our leadership of our school. As far as prepping for, so I guess in a way, running through those stage 2, we really kept to that pandemic plan and how we were communicating with our our community, with our staff, ensuring that we were following through with all the procedures that we've outlined and set out. But more importantly, we were starting to prepare for online because we could see the writing was on the wall, so to speak. So we have, we've had in our school our learning management system, which is Schoology. And it's really good. I think you guys have it as well, Tash, because I think one of my members came out for a wee bit of a chat. We've had it in school for about 4 years now, and the interesting thing is that with Schoology, it's actually, you've got the movers and shakers who are prepared to come on board and try all the different things and really use that as a communication tool, everything that you need for your classes. And then you've got those who perhaps aren't, they're a little bit slow out of the gates, and mainly because they're quite comfortable in what they've got, or they might be a little bit nervous about technology and so forth. The pandemic has basically moved everybody out of the gates, and for me, that's actually a positive. But also, we know that we've got a lot of teachers who still, or a handful of teachers that still require that PLD. So obviously, we've had to set a lot of that in place. So, I guess for us, we have set up a team of champions, digital champions within each department. So obviously, with a big staff and a big school, the departments, I really rely on the curriculum leadership, our team, and how they're leading their departments. So we've set probably guidelines, which we've shared to our teachers in a newsletter, and to use that as the guiding points, but the curriculum leaders are actually managing their staff within that framework. But also, it's all new, so it's allowing them that opportunity to be really flexible, and it is about keeping it simple when we're starting our first online lessons tomorrow, even though we had a couple of days to try that at the end of term one. The proof in the pudding will be as we go into the end of this week and the beginning of next week, and see how we go. So some real positives have come out of that. The digital champions are doing some great work with their departments, led by Charlene Nathan, one of our DPs, and our other DP, Claire Setts, who are running a lot of online PLD. So if anything, it's really opened up everybody to get involved with online teaching as well. Yeah, so that's been the big thing, focused on sending out information for the students. So we put out a guide to staying connected, students' guide to staying connected at Hamilton Girls High School. That was been really well received by our school community, as well as the students. And alongside that, our prefects are doing a fantastic job of student-led Instagram messages as well, and keeping the motivation up, and so forth, and offering that support too. So yeah, a lot going on behind the scenes.
Cool. I'm going to jump on that comment. I'm very envious of you and your structure of prefects and school leadership. As a new school, we don't have that depth. Yeah. And talk to me about and share with us a little bit about how you've used those structures embedded in your school to ensure that student agency and student leadership is really being fulfilled in this online space.
Yeah, it's been exciting. In fact, the biggest thing is holding the girls back. They really want to help, and the service leadership is really big at Hamilton Girls High School. They're there to serve, and that's their whole demeanour, their attitude is they're there to serve, they're there to help, and so they've really jumped on board. So I've had quite a few meetings with them. We've set up our Schoology conferences, trying a few things through that. So the head girl and deputy head girl are leading their teams of people. So everything from the we've focused on what would be the big issues. They're really good to bounce ideas off. So when I put together the Staying Connected at Hamilton Girls High School, they were my starting point. I bounce everything off them. So, I've got seven girls who, they're leading different councils, academic council, arts council, student council, services council, our hostel, our academic council, as well as our Sunning Hall hostel. And so they have underneath them a whole host of council students as well, where they can bounce off ideas too. So they've really driven the Instagram page in particular and had some really good feedback. And so we've linked the Instagram page to the Girls High Facebook page as well. But certainly some really cool ideas coming through. So they've put together, so they've taken a week each, or they've taken time where they've come up with ideas. They now are getting ready to start term 2. So it might be looking at how they can look at academic tutorials or tutoring online. So how the girls can sign up for that is probably one. Our Arts Council are really excited. They're going to try and look at doing I don't know how they're going to do this, but they're going to look at doing an online art exhibition. So they really are thinking outside of the square. Our Services Council, they've been really focusing on house competitions across the online. So everything from TikTok challenges and so forth. I think that's the next one, and they're going to try and get the teachers involved as well. So
see that one, Mari. We'll have to share that one.
I say to them, if they really want to get the teachers in, then they have to increase the house points, so it makes it really worthwhile for the teachers to get involved. Our Student Council, again, they've put together just little videos of thanking all those who are working, all our services, that people who are giving up their time, the health industry, and looking at ways to thank the essential workers, and basically just put together a video. So there's lots of things that they are leading behind the scenes and supporting and thinking and acknowledging, probably more than anything else. And probably the most important is that they are the ones that I bounce off. If I want to put something out to the student community, I'll bounce it off them first. And they're really good, because I'll come back and go, oh, they won't get this, or yeah, that's a really good idea, or can we add this? Can we do this? So it's quite cool. Yeah, really cool.
I love what you say about service leadership, and you're really talking about those skills that outside of what we see the curriculum to be, but are so important to embed in our young women and young men as they grow in adolescence and as they, develop into being, I suppose, developing citizens within our society. So are you measuring that or gathering evidence around that in any way? Or do you see there's possibility for that, knowing that we could be in this online space for some time?
Yeah, I think measuring it is more, obviously we keep track of everything that we do, the girls do, because I've really focused their leadership. It's not ever about doing things on a whim. It's always about being prepared. That's something that I really push with them. Whilst I've got some ideas, they still have to follow a process and put their recommendations into a paper and submit that through, just so that and I guess that's, for me, is big part of their learning as to the impact that idea will have. What are some of the key issues? What are the barriers? What are the coming, so that they're actually learning how to lead and run events, or they're learning that you actually have to think through everything. They have to think, what are the repercussions of this? So that's something that I've really pushed right from day one with them. And so they, like I say, they come up with the ideas and they go, "Miss, the paper will be with you shortly." So just quite cute. And again, they make sure I just get them to really think big picture. So they've got a helicopter view rather than just sitting on the ground saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to try this, we're going to do this." So that's big part of their learnings as well. Their real focus this year has been around wellbeing. So, that's been a big focus through the Instagram pages in particular, and how they are utilising that. So each of the councils, when we thought it was going to be a normal year, that was going to be a real focus for them throughout the year, and how they can continue to support wellbeing in our school, and really focusing on the hauora, around the Tapawha model as well.
I think the whole concept of focusing on students driving from within is really important, and I think that in schools we can look to consider, because I think sometimes we aren't helicoptering up, as you're saying, really look at the full lay of the land that our school has access to. But I love what you said about being planned and prepared. And, I know I used the word measurement, and that wasn't necessarily in a sense of assessment space. It's committed space. And, when a young person knows that they can plan and prepare in a certain way to develop certain skills, I think that in itself is a high level quality that we want our students exiting out of our schools with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So look, I think what I'll do is I'll leave this conversation here, Murray, but I think you've really brought in some quality conversations around our students and what they can offer us in our schools at a time when things are a little bit uncertain, and that actually student voice and agency are exceptionally important. Thank you so much for your time today.
No worries. Thank you, Tash, and you have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Ngā mihi.
Recording.
Oh yeah, I know, it's still recording. I've got to turn it off. Stop.